everybody, Sticker Rex here, and today I'm doing a review on Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So, here we go. No spoilers right now, I'll tell you when I get into spoilers, but first, let's just talk about the film as a whole, and what my thoughts on it. First off, is it better than Godzilla 2014? Yes, much better. Doesn't pan away from the monsters, doesn't push it toward the human characters. No, it focuses on the kaiju. That's why we go to see Godzilla. We're not going there to see the people, we're going there to see the monsters. And we do get that in this film. We do get quite a few good kaiju on kaiju battles in this film. You got 2 versus 2s, 2-on-1. It's a pretty good. Godzilla's awesome. King Ghidorah's amazing. Rodan's pretty good. Mothra is Mothra. If you've seen Mothra in other films, it's Mothra. Even with a new design, she's Mothra. Alright, and I also want to give good credit to the director, Michael Dougherty. Again, not very good at names, but shout out to this guy. Did an incredible job with the film, and also giving a shout out and great job, applause to Bear Mercury. I believe that's how his name. The music director, the music guy who helps the music. Really good job. Really good job with it. This film is really nicely done. It pays homages to the original Godzilla films, and I love that. It doesn't ignore old Godzilla films. It pays homages to the original Godzilla films, even actually adding some of the old Godzilla films in universe with this film. Whoa! They actually did that, and it's pretty good how they did it. It's subtle. It's subtle. When I get into spoilers, I'll talk about it a little bit more. But the music in this is the Godzilla theme. You have Godzilla's theme in this movie, and it's great. It's right there. It's dun 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 dun. You know, if you've seen the other Godzilla movies, you know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit. It has Godzilla's music, and it has a little bit of a remix of it. And it sounds really good. And then it has Mothra's song, Mothra. Mothra to kapalu matau. You know, the song that the fairies sing. It's not any words, thankfully, because that song is when the fairies sing that, it just takes so long. But it does play it. It's Mothra doesn't wake up to it or anything. It's kind of just played for Mothra's theme, and it is nice. And it's not words. It's just music. Just the melody, and it's nice. I like it. The CGI is really impressive, and for a Godzilla film, it's really good. Is it the best? No. My top 2 favorites are the original Godzilla film and Godzilla Final Wars. I just love Godzilla Final Wars. It's a good film. Though I do have to say, the film does start off a little bit slow. And this isn't really a spoiler, but people are in the rain a lot in this film. They're in the rain at the beginning of the film. They're in the rain, I think, a little bit later on in the film. In the middle of the film, they're in the rain. At the end of the film, they're in the rain. They're in the rain a lot. It's not a negative. I just kind of was thinking about it. They're in the rain a lot in this movie. That's due to thing. I'll be in spoilers. But yeah, this is a really good film. There is a lot of what's the word? A lot of talking, exposition. That's the word. There's a lot of exposition in this film, but that's the case with all Godzilla films. There's a lot of exposition, Godzilla fights, exposition, Godzilla fights. That's what's in the film. And so you've seen other Godzilla films, no different here. And this film also has an environmental message, which of course is, you know, I kind of rolled my eyes with it. But again, it's in the other Godzilla movies, so I guess it's fine. I kind of saw it coming due to the fact that it's a Godzilla movie. So, the fairies always brought up a message like that when they were in a film. Or the humans in a Godzilla film in the past. So, that's there. But, all in all, the film's really good. And the Easter, and the, well, not Easter egg, but the end credits, Yeah, there's a scene at the end of the film, so stay towards the end. Once the credits all roll, there's an end scene there, which I thought was pretty good. So yeah, let's go into spoilers now. So there is So pretty much as a okay, I'm not really good with like explaining the film, so I'm just going to talk about the points that I liked and things that I thought could have been done better. If you want more of a in-depth, complete overall review of the film, go to somebody else. I'm not really good with a full-on like in-depth review, but I'm just going to tell you what I liked, what could have been different, and some spoilers. So here we go. So, first off, they have an image of the fairies in this film. This image here isn't the exact fairies. I couldn't find it, the exact two. But there are two people in this film. They're not called fairies, but there are two girls in this film that definitely are ancestors of the fairies from the film. Well, it's like the mind the hypnosis lady from the other Godzilla films that she was in a little bit. I don't remember what she was exactly, but if you've seen the films, you might know who I'm talking about. She was in Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Anyways, the psychic lady. Yeah, the psychic lady. These two new characters are related to the psychic lady and her sister. So not exactly fairies, but but they kind of tie them in with the fairies that they have always been with Mothra and stuff like that. So I thought that was a nice nod, and they used the images so it's pretty much in the same universe as those other films. So I thought, because those are okay, I like it. King Ghidorah is amazing. He has a superpower in this film. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Two things I didn't really like about the film is the Monarch bases are really too easy to break into because the bad guys break into two bases and literally commit Order 66 on the bases and just kill everybody in them. And there's like no fight at all. And that's kind of like, what? Okay. But then it turns out that the people that they kidnapped aren't really kidnapped, but they are actually working with the bad guys, not the daughter, but the mother, and she's the one with the environmental message in the film. She talks about for maybe 3 minutes about it or so. It might be 2, but it does seem like quite a long time. I liked all the characters. Unfortunately, there was a death of an amazing character in the film, though he did give his life for Godzilla, so there was that. And Godzilla really did a pretty good job against King Ghidorah when he fought him. So King Ghidorah breaks out of the ice. How does he break out? The bad guys drill holes into the ice. They put stickers of dynamite or explosives in, blow it up, and there's a device that can not control but talk to the kaiju, so it kind of wakes him up by talking to him like, hey, Ghidorah, wake up. So anyways, Ghidorah wakes up. I know I'm probably skipping some things, but again, I'm talking about stuff I want to talk about. So, King Ghidorah breaks out, but Godzilla showed up because he senses this danger that could happen, that of King Ghidorah waking up. So he arrives and fights King Ghidorah in that first fight. And the three heads are supposed to have different personalities. The left head definitely had a more distracted personality. The middle head was definitely one in charge. And the right head, my brother said he couldn't see any difference between the middle and the right head. They pretty much both were the same. And the director kind of made it clear that the three heads were kind of individuals. But I probably to see it again to really look at the heads and see if they were really much different from each other, besides the left one being distracted by things. But the fight with them is pretty good. And Godzilla and Ghidorah, when they first clash, there's a fight there. But then Ghidorah kind of flies away because he has wings. So he flies away. Mothra is the first kaiju of the film. Well, not the first. Godzilla is the first one you see him, and then we go to Mothra. And she ashes out of the lava and escapes because the bad guys turn off the safety and the fences are down. And the dinosaurs and the kaiju breaks out. But then she turns into a cocoon and hatches later to become beautiful Mothra. So then they go to another place to wake Rodan, and Rodan was pretty cool. He comes out of a volcano. It's kind of funny that a volcano killed the original Rodan in the movie Rodan. The volcano was the one that killed it. And here, Rodan awakes from the volcano and is like a molten eagle beast. And so when King Ghidorah actually gets out, he creates a storm around him. There's lightning and thunder and all this stuff, and it follows him everywhere he goes because he creates this mighty storm. And so King Ghidorah is heading towards Rodan because they're gonna have a fight or something. They're gonna have a fight. And so they pretty much have to evacuate the city that's at the bottom of the volcano, so they're getting people out of there. Rodan awakes. Rodan follows this not the helicopter, this special jet thing, don't know what it's called, and proceeds to chase it, to follow it, and runs it right into Ghidorah, so Rodan and Ghidorah have a fight. Rodan loses really quickly. Ghidorah chases after the ship, but right before he gets to it, Godzilla jumps out of the water, grabs Ghidorah, and pulls him underneath the water. And at this point, Godzilla was pretty much going to kill Ghidorah by drowning him. Godzilla even rips off one of King Ghidorah's heads at this point. But here is the other issue, the last thing that I think was a pretty big wasted thing in the film. And that was the use of the not the hydrogen bomb, but what is it called? What is it called? The oxygen destroyer. That's what it is. The oxygen destroyer was used here to pretty much, the military said, we have a new weapon. It came out of the blue too. They're like, hey, the military guys, like the general's like, we have a new weapon. It's called the oxygen destroyer. It can kill Godzilla and the King Ghidorah at the same time. And it's like, no, don't use it. Godzilla's winning. Because he is winning. He's killing Ghidorah. And they shoot it. It lands in the water and explodes. Ghidorah actually flies out. He's not affected by it. Godzilla's heartbeat goes out, but Mothra shows up and does a heal. She's the healer of the movie, so she flies in and heals Godzilla, though you don't know that yet, but she flies in and heals him. And yeah, the action story is pretty wasted in this film. I would have probably skipped the whole Oxygen Destroyer thing. It was kind of like, hey look, Oxygen Destroyer, there it is. It's used, and it's kind of like, there was a reason for it being used in the first film, and it's so overpowered and so deadly that it never should be made and never should be used, and something that was really brought out in the very first Godzilla film of how deadly this weapon was, and the whole film focused on this, and on this film it kind of is just like, oh, we have it, let's use it. It's like, what? You know, it's, yeah, and it doesn't play into anything because Godzilla doesn't die. He doesn't turn to bones. He doesn't die. He gets hurt. His radiation is pretty much almost gone, so he goes back to his lair to heal in his home. But he doesn't die, so the whole point of the Oxygen Destroyer didn't really work in the film because it didn't do anything. So anyways, after the Oxygen Destroyer was used, King Ghidorah had no effect on it because King Ghidorah is not from Earth. That's what I like. They kept King Ghidorah's original story origin, and I like it. He's a space monster, and they kept it. That's why I love this film. They kept things how it should be kept. I loved it. It was so good. It was so well done. I absolutely loved that they kept things the same instead of going completely changing everything and completely just doing something completely different. No, I like how they kept it the same. I really like that. Paid a lot of good respects to the original films. That's why I like this film again. It paid a lot of respect to the films. And yeah, I loved it for that. And anyway, so after King Ghidorah flies out of the water, he's missing one of his heads, but he can regenerate his heads. That's what I like. That's what I thought was pretty cool. So he regenerates his left head, which was ripped off. And then he's standing on the mountain volcano that Rodan woke up from, and is like, I'm the king now. So anyways, we're going to cut way past all that and cut right to where... So pretty much at that point, King Ghidorah wakes up all the other kaiju, and they all start doing his bidding by destroying the cities and everything. And then you have they have to go find Godzilla. So they go into the water, and they find Godzilla in his underground sanctuary, which is a city. It's pretty much a city, an ancient city that worshipped King Godzilla, and Godzilla's resting on top of this platform, and they can't get to him because of all the radiation and stuff. So the guy, I'm not going to say who, sacrifices himself, takes the warhead to him, puts it next to him, sets it off, and Godzilla is fully re-energized with radiation, comes out ready to fight King Ghidorah for the final time. So so King Ghidorah and Godzilla fight 3 times in this film, which is pretty nice. So here we go, the two Titans. And I love how they call these monsters Titans. I like it. Titans. Maybe I just like it. It just sounds awesome. It sounds great. The Titans are here. So anyway, so the monsters engage in time, and this time I love it. You got the music playing, you got Godzilla's theme going, and not only Godzilla, but you have the human army flying behind Godzilla, and they're going to fight with Godzilla to take on King Ghidorah. And it's like, let them fight. No, this time we fight with him. And they all go in with him, and there's this big they just hit each other. And Godzilla's going in with a huge bang because that radiation boost that he just got from that nuke really pumped him up, and he's bulkier, bigger, and he's just going at it, and his levels are raising up because he's going maximum. And even though he can't be called Burning Godzilla for whatever reason, they again to get the rights to that, so he's Fire Godzilla. So he's building up the energy, he's going to become Fire Godzilla in this fight, and Godzilla's pretty much beating Ghidorah right now, but then Ghidorah gets pinned to the ground. He sees this light, this electric box, bites it to get an electric jolt, pushes Godzilla back, and then does this huge, just this massive lightning explosion and just destroys everything. And the people in charge are like, any fighters left? We need to leave. It's like, who's left? There's nobody left. And Godzilla's like, oh, he's hurt at this point, and King Ghidorah just gets up to him, starts biting him, and starts draining his energy, another iconic thing King Ghidorah can do, and he just starts draining from Godzilla. This time Godzilla's starting to turn red, so Ghidorah's absorbing all this red energy from Godzilla, and so they kind of want to distract King Ghidorah, so they use the sound box to distract King Ghidorah to make an alpha predator sound, and so King Ghidorah goes after the box, and that gives time Godzilla to get up, and Godzilla gets up, and as he's walking, everything's melting. That's how powerful he has become. Everything just melts around him, and he gets up to King Ghidorah and just goes boom, he just lets off this power boost and just melts King Ghidorah's wings are just melted and falling apart at this point. King Ghidorah tries to use his lightning, doesn't do anything to him. Godzilla steps onto King Ghidorah because he knocked King Ghidorah over and just and then then Godzilla explodes, sort of, kind of just like a big energy burst. He doesn't die, but he just gets a big energy burst and blows up King Ghidorah's last head. And that's the end of the fight. Kind of a quick zoom through the film, but again, I don't want to make this like a whole hour-long video. So there you go. That's pretty much all the battles in the film, and there are human parts, of course, in there. But I just want to talk about the Godzilla battles. And in this battle with Godzilla and King Ghidorah, there is Mothra and Rodan. Rodan shows up to help King Ghidorah, but Mothra shows up to help fight. Mothra helps and fights Rodan. Mothra, again, isn't very strong. Mothra pretty much loses to Rodan. But Mothra, with her new ability, uses her stinger at the end of the tail to stab Rodan to injure him. Not kill him. Rodan doesn't die in the film, which is great. Stabs him, makes him fall down. Then, when Godzilla is down, Mothra flies in to pretty much sacrifice herself to protect Godzilla. And Mothra dies. But don't worry, there's another egg, so Mothra will come back, because that's how Mothra always works. She always dies. So, yeah, Mothra's the same. So anyways, at the end, Godzilla wins, and all the other monsters, all the other kaiju, the Titans show up and bow before the god. Because what is a king to a god, really, you know? You have King Ghidorah and King Kong. These are kings of monsters, alright? Godzilla isn't just the king of monsters. He is the god of monsters. You can say Kong, you can say Ghidorah without using king, but you can't say Godzilla without using Godzilla. Godzilla is the god of monsters. He is the best, and I think you know that I think at this point you know that I really like Godzilla. And again, Kong's got nothing on this guy. Nothing. Nothing, I'm sorry. Godzilla and King Kong might as well just be friends at the beginning, have no pointless fight, and just, you know, Yeah, in their film, they should just chill with each other. Alright, so, and now we go to the last scene of the film, which I thought was going to be Destroyer. The bad guys go to the fishing people that pretty much can't fish anymore because of the military dropping that bomb and killing all the animals in the water, except for the two kaiju. So, making, again, the Oxygen Destroyer pretty useless, but the bomb is dropped. But not the bomb. But the fishermen have the head that Godzilla ripped off and threw into the water when they were fighting in the water. And I thought it was going to be Destroyer, like they had a Destroyer in a jar or something, because Destroyer was created from the hydrogen bomb. But it wasn't him. It was Ghidorah's head, and the guy and the bad guy says, "We'll take it." And now you've got Mecha King Ghidorah. Though Mecha King Ghidorah only has one robotic head and two regular heads, so maybe they'll be different here: two robotic heads and one regular head. Who knows? But I'm seeing Mecha King Ghidorah in the future. I'm seeing it. But again, alright, so that has been Godzilla, King of the Monsters. But you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about the film, or if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a pretty good film. Not saying you have to, but you can. Alright, so there you go, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, have a great day, and bye, everybody.